Yes, I'm here with a car. Yes, this is an EV. I am in Michigan this week exploring all over, pretending to be a Michigander. This is the 2023 Ford Mustang Mach-E GT. This is the fast one. It has plenty of electric range. I'm driving around Michigan, exploring, learning, and stay tuned. I'm going to share everything about this week and my mini road trip around Michigan with you. I stayed in the heart of Detroit at the beautiful Shinola Hotel, and during my stay, I experienced so much great food at cafes and restaurants. I visited the Department of Transportation and Airspace Experience Technologies to learn more about air mobility, like drones that can move cargo and people someday. This drone has more torque than 12 Corvettes in one, so it will do 0 to 150 miles per hour in about 7 seconds. And they can use smaller drones like this one for last mile to delivery and airport inspections. All right, so as part of my Michigan experience, I am driving out to Ann Arbor right now, which is a university town, scenery, a little bit of a road trip through the fall foliage. Hopefully I see some pretty trees and colors on the way. In an EV, you can use the navigation system to tell you how far you can go on your little road trip and if you're going to need to charge along the way. So I'm going to go to Ann Arbor. So let's just go to Ann Arbor. So I do not require a charge. I'm going to be at 69% when I get there. And there's no traffic or alerts, but this is the main thing I want to know. So I can clearly get there without charging, and if I'm going to be at 69% when I get there, I can easily get back here to downtown Detroit when I'm ready to come back. So let's hit go.
Obey traffic laws. Be alert and use voice commands while driving.
It's going to take me 46 minutes.
Highlighted route.
Now it's off to Ann Arbor to do some exploring. I am getting on the highway, or freeway.
For 24 kilometers, continue straight.
And I'm heading back to Detroit from Ann Arbor. And I want to show you guys BlueCruise. So the screen will light up and let me know when it's ready. This is a blue zone highway because I used BlueCruise on the way to Ann Arbor, so I know it is. And as soon as it's telling me on the screen BlueCruise is available, press the cruise control button to set, and it is now on. That means that screen right here is watching me, and I can take my hands off the wheel. So it's telling me hands-free. It's going to maintain with traffic. It's even going to move over in the lane a little bit when I pass some of these big trucks. I don't know if you can see them, but this is BlueCruise. Hands off the wheel, feet off the pedals. It will even change lanes for me. So once I get past this big truck, I'm going to tap the signal, and it'll change lanes for me without my hands on the wheel. It's crazy, but it's amazing. And it's lane centering obviously as well. But it is a really nice way to drive in traffic on the highway. I can pay attention obviously and keep my hands off the wheel as long as it tells me to. It'll also slow down in curves, and sometimes it will tell me to put my hands on the wheel when I'm going around a turn, but for the most part it's hands free. And it just sped up a little bit because the cars in front of me turned off. It's going back to my set speed, which was 70 miles per hour, which is the speed limit here. And that's it. That is hands-free BlueCruise. Heading to the hockey game. And what a fun night it was. The Detroit Red Wings beat the Penguins 6-3. Today's adventures in Michigan. I have the Ford F-150 Lightning fully electric pickup truck. I've had this truck at home a couple of times, so I'll link my full reviews below. I love this truck. It is so fun to drive. It's big, it's useful, it's capable, and I'm in beautiful Belle Isle Park, and the Detroit skyline is behind me. I'm going to do some more exploring today, but right now I'm on my way to the brand new Gordie Howe Bridge build. That is a huge bridge being built between Windsor and Detroit and will be a major border crossing. I met with Heather from the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority to talk about this 23-year project. This is the build of the Gordie Howe Bridge, which is the largest port of entry between Canada and the U.S. and will be 36 inspection lanes on the U.S. side and 22 on the Canadian side. It is a toll bridge, but it will have a free pedestrian and cyclist lane. This construction of this bridge started in 2018, and it is the largest commercial land border between Canada and Michigan. All right, here we have the Ambassador Bridge, which is the bridge to Canada from here in Detroit. And then there is the bridge I showed you this morning, the new Gordie Howe International Bridge. Wow, that looks wild from here. I was just below this morning. I visited the beautiful Belle Isle Park and then headed over to the Eastern Market for a Detroit staple, the Greek Euro at Mitsos. It was delicious. I even made time for some exercise, running and walking down Woodward Avenue to explore. There are so many cool cafes in downtown Detroit, as well as even a speakeasy inside the Shinola Hotel, which I checked out on my last night. Okay, so this morning, it's my last morning in Detroit. I am heading to the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification, which is a state of Michigan organization, and I'm meeting with the deputy chief to talk about electrification initiatives and charging infrastructure and the future of mobility and electrification here in the state of Michigan. So this is it, and then this afternoon I think I have some free time to drive around a little more and then head home. And I'm excited to wrap this up into one final thought later today. I am inside Michigan Central. This is a abandoned train station turned tech hub by Ford, and I'm going to go for a little tour. Here's one example of what is being innovated in this shop right now is an electric ATV, and this is a prototype being built right now. I visited New Lab, met the skills team and the innovation services team. There's just so much cool stuff going on here. I met with Catherine, the Deputy Chief of the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification for the state of Michigan, and their goal is to grow the economy and innovate around the needs of the residents of Michigan through testing and innovation and working in the community with workforces, transportation, and infrastructure, including charging solutions and policy and innovation. One of the coolest things I learned from Catherine is they have an inductive charging road they just started building the week after I was there, where there'll be eventually a mile of road that can charge vehicles as they're driving over it. The goal for that would be delivery vehicles or buses or shuttles where they're doing a loop on a regular basis so that they're driving that route while the vehicle is charging. They also have a wireless charging pad for vehicles right at Michigan Central, which is also future innovation, where you can just park a delivery van, for example, and it charges while it's parked. Pretty wild stuff. There was so much to learn from Catherine and everybody at the state of Michigan and Michigan Central. This is the Baggley Mobility Hub, which serves as not only just a parking garage, but also as a charging station. The infrastructure is being built for this to serve this whole Michigan Central area, including future hotels, restaurants, and all floors will have charging stations in them. One of the things I would say about planning a road trip with an EV is checking with your hotel when you're booking a hotel to make sure it has a charger on site. That way you can just plug in your EV at the hotel when you're sleeping or just at the hotel for the day and walking around town. That is a game changer to planning an EV road trip. I've had it easy this week. I'm staying in Detroit. My hotel has a charger and the valet is actually parking and charging the EVs for me. Something new for 2024 for both the F-150 Lightning and the Mach-E with this big screen is that this volume dial changes into a temperature dial and the seat heater dial. Amazing. That's a wrap on my Michigan EV road trip. I loved spending time in the F-150 Lightning and the Mach-E GT this week, both Ford EVs. And I learned so much this week. I met with the Department of Transportation for Michigan, the Office of Future Mobility and Electrification. I went to Michigan Central, to the new lab. Tons of innovation happening there. I got to go to the Windsor Detroit International Bridge build and talk to the authority about what they're doing, how it's going. That project is massive and so cool. I've learned about air mobility this week and everything Michigan is doing to improve electrification infrastructure for their residents to go EV if they want to. And I've had some fun exploring around Michigan as well. I went to Ann Arbor, I stayed downtown. I've had some amazing Thai food, some amazing Italian food. And of course, I met some really amazing people. And I will say that is my biggest takeaway from this trip is that these bodies, these agencies, these government companies and startups and OEMs, they're all partnering. Ford invested all that money into Michigan Central, an abandoned train station and book depository for this innovation and startups and labs, and there's building spaces. And these companies and startups and OEMs and government agencies are all working together. Those partnerships, I think, is what's driving their innovation and their testing and their growth. It's amazing how they're all working together and meeting with all these different people from different places and how they work together. It's been really quite something. My mind has been blown. A few things, the air mobility, the drones, the embedded charging in the street, the wireless charging pads for cars and commercial vehicles. I've just seen a lot, learned a lot, and I had a lot of fun along the way too. So thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe.